Welcome to Last Time Online. This episode is brought to you by Dogmu Games, my very own game studio. I'm currently working on my first game called Wake Out of Twilight. Wake Out of Twilight is a 2D platformer game based in a futuristic dystopia where nearly all parts of life are automated. Life couldn't get any easier, but the price to pay was more than anybody agreed to. Navigate through traps, obstacles, and puzzles in order to save everybody from the nightmare. If you would like to be the first to know when I have updates or when the game is releasing, you can go to Steam and wishlist the game. Now, let's get on with the episode. What's up, gamers? Welcome to Last Time Online, the show where nerdy people talk about nerdy things. I'm your host, I'm George. We like to start off this podcast with something we call the Nerd Report, but before we get to that, we are joined by a smaller crew today. We have Jonathan.
Hey.
We have Alvaro.
Hi.
And Justin
We have
today.
Alvaro's chin.
Howdy.
Yeah, so 4 of us today, and we have a bunch of small, cool, spicy, juicy topics to talk about today. We talked about it before. There's not a lot of gaming news, floating around right now, but I'm pretty interested in what we're going to talk about today. But anyway, starting with the nerd report, I usually go first, and last week, I only kind of want to bring up 2 things, I guess. First is that I caught up with Moon Knight once again, and next week is going to be the last episode. I personally thought this episode, today's episode at the day of recording, was the coolest episode that I've seen so far. I really liked it, and I guess that means that next week I'm really looking forward to us doing like a spoiler episode of Last Time Online for the Moon Knight series. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was I kept mentioning me finishing a game, and with an asterisk, I finished a little game called Wake Out of Twilight. It's by it's by a game studio called Dogmu Games, and it's one that I run myself. And if you didn't get the description, yes, I am a part-time game developer, and I make my own game, and I finally finished like all the game design parts. And what I will say in this little report is that I would say, if you're listening, you can expect a public demo that you can play. I want to try to release that in the next month. That's the commitment I'm making right now. And so if you want to wishlist it, there's going to be a link in the description. And so that's my plug, and that's going to be the end of my report, and we will move on. And I'm kind of sad that like Anthony and Max aren't here. They usually hype me up with that kind of stuff because they've actually played a little bit of it already.
Well, maybe Anthony will pop in like 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, true. We might have talked. Yeah, we'll wait till like maybe towards the end of the. I won't like tease anything that we might not end up getting to. That'd be messed up for me. But okay, so let's move on. Let's start with Alvaro today. You got anything?
Just keeping it light this week. I did go see The Northman, which is pretty cool. It wasn't like a 300 or anything like that. It was much more, personal story of revenge. But it's definitely worth seeing. Other than that, I just been putting a lot more time into Elden Ring. I'm approaching the 100-hour mark, and there's a lot more to go. And there's more to come on that, and that's about it for me.
Yeah, are you kind of exploring in Elden Ring right now, or are you trying to?
Yeah.
Are you kind of like orbiting around the story still, or are you just?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say what is and isn't story. Most of the story is like flavor text on the items and stuff like that. But I'm just trying to make progress. I'm just trying to finish this game. So.
Are there any big names in Northman?
I mean, is Anya Taylor-Joy a big name?
She's the one in the Queen's Gambit, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah. Okay. I knew the name sounded familiar. Now that you said that, I know for sure.
Yeah. And she's Princess Peach in this Mario movie that got delayed. She's a good actress, right? Yeah.
Have you seen Queen's Gambit?
I don't know. I haven't seen Queen's Gambit. It's pretty good. That movie probably needs another year in the cooker, I think.
I would say that actress is tends to be like in the vicinity of good shows and good movies from all the stuff that I know her for. Like she's actually I want to say like everything that I know her from seems to be like Oscar nominated or like high praise on like
usually,
Netflix for Netflix.
It's
You know what I
usually
mean?
critically acclaimed stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know anything she's been in except for Queen's Gambit. That was the first time I ever seen her.
Wow.
So
I mean, most of the things now
she-
it's usually her or Florence Pugh. So take your pick.
Queen.
yeah, I wonder if that's like a good agent or she just like a really good actress. You know what I mean? Because
It might be a little bit of both.
yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
I mean, I've been
'cause you
following
could
her
definitely-
since like The Witch.
So I did want to see Last Night in Soho. I didn't get to see that movie.
A very good one too.
Oh, that's one she was in too, right? Yeah.
Also, what level are you in Elden Ring?
I'm at level 94. Or hold on.
94?
106.
Like that's your character. Okay.
106.
I seen a thing on Twitter that said Randy Orton is level 529.
Fuck.
That's like 6 playthroughs.
And they're like, he's
Here-
like he's like, it's 7 hours to St. Louis. I think he's implying that when he's on tour buses, he's just playing Elden Ring from point A to point B the whole time.
Maybe.
So I don't know much about Elden Ring, but do you get like stat increases every level that you get to, or is it all?
I mean, it depends on what stat you're increasing. Like you can choose to go between your health, your strength, your dexterity, intelligence.
Okay, so my question is like once you get to that high level, I assume you can just like one shot like most of the stuff that you come to, right? No, oh seriously, still no?
No.
Okay.
No.
The way that it was explained to
I get
me
you.
is that like after a while, what you get from leveling is like really minuscule, so it's not really
So it's like
You'll hit a
worth
ceiling.
leveling.
so like diminishing returns then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you gotta level your weapons, your everything else, like your shield.
I would
probably should do more.
That's interesting then. It almost I mean I agree with it because I don't think that you should be able to like level so much that you make the game like so easy, right? That you don't have fun playing it anymore, right? But
anything cool like that, you usually end game stuff,
Mhm.
and you do have the option to respec at a certain point.
Okay.
And there's no like hard level cap, right?
No.
So you could just like infinitely level up hypothetically, but you'd probably be grinding forever.
Until you hit
pretty
until someone's gonna find the level cap. I'm sure like in a
I mean, I'm sure it's like 999. Like,
yeah, it's
I'm
gonna
sure
be like some like coding limitation or something.
The level cap is you stop playing. That's the level cap.
Yeah.
I
Just
mean,
like
because there's plenty of glitches to like farm and stuff. So like, if you really wanted to find out, like you just like sit there and farm for hours and see how high you can go.
I almost decided to see The Northman this weekend, but I opted to see the Nick Cage movie. So I'm hoping that Max and I can nerd out over that movie the next episode too.
We were gonna try and watch that yesterday, but all of the showings were at like 7:25, and we wouldn't get back until 10. So we're like, that's like baby bedtime. So we gotta wait until next week, hopefully.
This baby
It'll be
runs
like
your
a-
life. What's up with
Yeah.
that? I'm playing. It's
Well, hopefully
supposed to be
next
that way.
week Nick Cage will be playing at 6 o'clock and not 7, because 7:25 was the last showtime of the night. So we closed at 7:45 this week.
Well, how about we transition right into you, Jonathan? What did you have for the last week that you did?
I didn't do much, honestly. I did a lot of house stuff, baby stuff, work
That's
stuff.
fair. Happens.
I did get a book. I sent a picture like this weekend. It's the playtest rules for the Marvel tabletop RPG.
Oh, right. Yeah. I didn't respond to
kinda
that, but I'm
reading a little bit
interested in
on
it.
It looks cool. But it's just like bare bones rules to kind of like test out the game. The actual tabletop game doesn't come out till like March of next year.
Oh, was that like a Kickstarter then that you funded? Is that what that was?
No. They sell that book on Amazon for like $10.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like a little like not even 200. It's probably like a 150 or 120 page little book. Um, yeah, and it looks cool. I haven't really got a chance to like really dig into it, but the main thing I've been doing this week is I've been watching anime. And I've been catching up on Bob's Burgers as well, which is that show is like consistently great. Like it hasn't. I don't feel like it's dipped down.
Is that an ongoing show still, or are they?
Bob's Burgers, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I mean, yeah.
And there's a movie coming out next month.
Oh, where is it going to
It
be on?
looks
In theater or?
In theater.
yeah,
in
in
theater.
theaters. Yeah, it's
I
a
had no
major
idea.
motion picture.
I'm sure people are gonna be like, "Did you see the movie?" And I'll be like, "No, because I don't watch the show."
It's a good show.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel left out.
It looks like it's gonna be good. I found their TikTok on Bob's Burgers TikTok on accident, and they were saying that opening musical number for the Bob's Burgers movie is like really good, because they were like, "Oh yeah, what's your favorite musical number?" And all the episodes, which is like there's one every single episode. So
Mhm.
they said it might have been just a bit of promotion, but they said that opening musical number is really good. But the anime that I've been watching is called Log Horizon. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it.
Nope.
Basic
I'm
premise.
I'm also not. I like anime very much, but I'm not the kind of guy that like ends up going to the like more hidden animes, you know, because I'm like always around like the more mainstream ones. Most of the time,
Yeah,
Anthony's usually the
yeah,
one that watches like the same one.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
every time you mention an anime, like you hear Anthony in the background, like, oh, that's a good one. Yeah. But yeah.
yeah. I've been kind of trying to watch little ones here and there. But Log Horizon is actually kind of an older one that I watched originally when it came out. And like to give you an idea of like how old it is, I was watching it on my PS3 on the web browser app,
Hmm.
when it
Wow.
originally came out. And that was a time when I didn't have Crunchyroll or anything to watch it, so I was watching it on Watch Cartoon Online.com. That's how I used to watch Bob's Burgers on there. All the the streaming cartoons on there. But I started rewatching it because there's a second season and a third season that came out much later. Third season came out last year, and I think the second season came out a few years ago. There's like a huge gap between the seasons. So I rewatched the first season, and I'm almost done with the second season. It's really good. You'd probably like it. Its basic premise is these players playing an MMO, uh, when they log in for the new patch, or
Hmm.
I should say the expansion. It's like WoW, right?
Hmm.
They end up getting like every single player that was logged in when that expansion went live gets trapped in the game, and so it's not so much like Sword Art Online where if you die you like die in the game. Like if
Hmm.
you die in the game you come back to life, but there is a cost that they talk about. I don't know if you want to check it out. I don't want to really spoil it, but um, and so it's literally these players trying to find a way to exist in a game that they have been trapped inside,
Hmm.
with no way of getting out. And even like they still have the video game interfaces, and they're kind of like struggling because they're attacked. They're the first episode. They're fighting like these really low level monsters. They're like level 90. The previous cap they upped it to 100, but level 90 fighting against like level 25 monsters, and they're struggling because using the interfaces for the game is too slow, And so they have to learn to actually use the skills of their classes with their own bodies, like you would do naturally with if you were in the real world.
They should just get an
And
SSD.
yeah, and even like food, they have to figure out food because like the food that's in the game, it just tastes like nothing. Any drink just tastes like water, and so there's just kind of like a miserable state for them trying to figure out the rules of the world and how to exist in it. It's pretty interesting, and I think it does a really good job of like integrating a lot of the stuff that you would commonly see in MMOs. Like later in the series, like they do like a raid dungeon, and like literally they're in the raid for like a month, because they're like trying to get through each raid boss is like a brand new one none of them have ever played, and there's like so many, and they're just like dying or running away, and just they have to try and figure out how to do everything. It's really cool. I like the animation.
It sounds interesting.
Yeah,
in reality, what I would probably, I mean, because I haven't seen Sword Art Online, and I was never interested until I kind of heard like the plot of it, I guess, from Ready Player 2, because I'm like listening to the ebook right now. Yeah.
Oh, how was that?
It's okay so far. I mean, I like the first one a lot. So I mean, this one, in my opinion, is having a hard time living up to it, but it's still good. But yeah, that's my opinion. I don't think they should make a movie out of the second one.
They probably will, and it's going to be a giant advertisement. I think
we'll
I think the important thing to note the difference is there's different stakes. Like Sword Art Online is a much more serious anime, I think, because obviously if they die for reals. Whereas this one is just this one has kind of like a more like lighter, like there's some slice of life aspects to it because they are trying to live in the game and they do holidays, and but there is also like a lot of political intrigue because like these
okay,
higher level guys have to try and navigate that, not just the other players but also the NPCs that have become real people in this world.
I was gonna say that it almost sounded like a digital Lord of the Flies, and I didn't say it until you said like it got a little political, So I'm like, okay, maybe it is more like Lord of the Flies,
It's a little bit. It's really interesting. I really like it. I think it's worth checking out.
All right.
But yeah, that's it. That's all I've really done this week.
Yeah, and there's Jonathan's other anime recommendation for the week for the listeners too.
Next week I'm gonna watch The World Ends with You, the anime.
There you go. Stay tuned, guys. The one that you talked about today in the last episode sounded pretty interesting to me too. But we'll move on though. So how about you, Justin? Do you have anything that you did in the last week?
Well, business has been a booming on the farm lately.
Are you talking about Stardew Valley?
Yeah.
Business is booming. You got your weed farm? You got your weed farm going?
No.
Your poppies?
No, I've just been going through the seasons, and I've actually been doing, I think I'm almost done with my first year, I believe.
Okay.
So like business has been a booming. Like last week I got really poor and it was not fun. But yeah, business has been great. Also pretty much the same as last week. I've been playing some Hearthstone. I've been playing some WoW. I tried to play Overwatch this week, but I kind of got messed because we might talk about that. But I waited to watch the queues today and then waited. I got like 90% and then the queue shut off, so that way I have to wait till the next time they announce or release whenever they're able to do it. So kind of frustrating, but what can you do, right? And then I think next week I'm probably gonna watch Batman Friday, but that's just because the people that I watch with are currently finishing school. So that's about it.
Yeah, it is on HBO now. You know, since it came on HBO, it's been kind of my go-to thing to like just put on in the background, like while I'm cooking or something. Just cause like Batman's a movie where you can like kind of just look at it or glance at it every once in a while, and there's usually something hella pretty on the screen, or there's like some hella cool like theme music that's going on, so it's kind of cool. Um, so was that all you wanted to share, Justin? Because if not, we can segue right into the next
Yeah, I didn't
topic.
really do much this week. This weekend we kind of had some like Jonathan. I was doing stuff with him and his baby, so
Okay.
that's about it.
We played that one board game.
Well,
What
speaking
did we
of,
do? Oh, we played Herd Mentality. That's right. I forgot. So for the listeners who, if they remember, I am the board game connoisseur, right? I mean, we all kind of play board games, but I'm usually the one that has them all, and that's the one who brings new games to the table, right? This is one that we got. My sister actually got for Christmas, and I actually bought it for her, and we actually finally played it. It's pretty much kind of like what's the best way to describe it, Jonathan?
You pick a card and it says a thing, and you have to try and say something you think other people are going to say. Like, for example, how many shoes should the average person? How many pairs of shoes should the average person wear?
Okay, for you guys, what do you think your answer is?
how many shoes? What was the question? How many shoes?
What do you think the average? How many shoes do you think the average person should own?
Pairs.
Is this like a Family Feud kind of thing? I would say
No,
okay.
no.
So if I were gonna answer, I would say 3. It's average.
Ha!
Wait, no, average. I don't know, because there's like outliers, right? Because like it's either you have one shoe, or like it's like you have like 1 to 3 shoes, or you have like 20 shoes, right? So like those people like pull the average in that direction, right?
Well, how much? It's
I'll stick
what
with
you
3.
think the average is. What you feel the average person should have.
And keep in
3.
mind, like the answers you're comparing to are the people you're playing with. So like it was, I played with me and my sister, and I actually ended up playing with my parents, which was kind of weird because they weren't the greatest.
Do chunkless
like-
count as shoes? Or chunkless shoes? Because that's the
well,
case.
Yeah, any footwear.
Oh, okay. I upped that to 6 because everyone should have 3 shoes and then 3 chunkless.
So I put
chocolates.
So I put 5. So before you're like, it's like you should have a work shoe. You should have a. Hold on, my mic is being weird.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going. I would say like a work shoe, a workout shoe that you can get kind of dirty, right? And then like maybe a casual going out shoe. That would be 3 for me, right? But then the reason I upped it to 6 would be like sandal, and sandal.
Yeah, so
he said sandals and a working boot and like a boot.
So I said a nice shoe, right? You got to have your nice shoe. You got to have your going out shoe, like just like a sneaker or running shoe. I don't wear
everyday shoe.
Yeah, I don't wear sandals because I don't believe in open-toed shoes because that's just no. So I said slippers, and then you have like
the moccasins.
Yeah, then you have like what did I say? Work shoe,
Okay.
Running shoe. But
Well,
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, let's get to the point here.
Yeah. That's the point.
So everybody writes down their answers blind, and then we flip it over, and you get points for matching with other people. If nobody matches, you want to be part of the majority. If nobody matches, nobody gets points. If you pick the one answer, and like everybody matches but you, then you are the outlier and you get the pink cow, and then you can't win if you have the pink cow. Doesn't matter if you have the most points. You can't win until you get rid of your cow.
That's cool. That's kind of like, it sounds like Family Feud in a way, but more like I guess more action. Yeah.
Not the most exciting game, but it was pretty fun.
It was fun. Yeah.
Okay. New game called Herd Mentality. You know, you guys play you play games enough, like tabletop or board games enough, that have you guys ever tried doing your own, like coming up with your own game and just like Kickstartering it or something? I've heard of people that they'll try to make a game, and it costs like nothing, right? Like all you have to do is like kind of write up a game, and then you go on Kickstarter and then you say, hey, I made up a game, I have the rules here. Just like donate like a few dollars to me, and then you basically just have a PDF for them to download, and that's it. You don't have to like ship anything physical out to them, but it's like a downloadable thing that's behind like a paywall for like a donation or something like that.
Yeah, I've actually, I literally talked about this the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, but it's been something I've been looking into of wanting to create a game, but I kind of see of what kind of game I want to go with. Like, I don't know if I want to do like a work replacement or a Euro game or. Um,
Yeah, well, you know what those terms are. I have no idea what.
I was
those
gonna
terms
say you
are.
guys might not know what those terms are, but
just like video games, there's like so many different game style mechanics for board games. It's nuts.
Right.
Have you seen those smart dice though? They're
No.
like it's like a set of 5 or 6 regular dice that you come with a case and a charger, and then you sync them up with like your phone,
Mm-hmm.
and you could play like Yahtzee or a bunch of different dice games, and then when you roll the dice, it like there's like a transmitter inside the dice that like relays the number into the phone app, and so it's you can just take the dice and like a tablet and then like play board games like on a train, or so you don't have to like lug around a ton of board games. Obviously you're limited to games that use just regular dice, but it's kind of a cool thing.
What would that? Who's the audience for that? Because you're saying that you can roll a dice, you can roll physical dice, and then it shows up on your phone.
Yeah. So the app, there's an app
like
that comes with it.
So
it has like Yahtzee and like a bunch of other board games that use regular D6s, and then when you're playing, like the game is on the tablet, and when you roll the dice, you're rolling physical dice, and whatever the numbers come up, it automatically translates the results from the physical dice into the game.
Into the game.
Yes.
Okay. I get it then. So it would just take some integration then. Okay. I'm getting a little technical because it makes it, when I hear stuff like that, it makes me wonder how someone would implement that. But yeah, I get it now. Right. But anyway, let's move on from board games. Let's start getting into the juicy topics that we have for today. All right. Is CinemaCon public information? Yeah, it is. That's a public thing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just make
CinemaCon,
CinemaCon,
everybody
the event itself is not public.
Yeah, okay.
Attendance is theater owners and studios.
Managers.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we didn't get in trouble for like leaking anything that the public might not know. I mean, I know about it, so I guess it should be public, right? I don't have care. CinemaCon released that there is going to be a Matt Reeves Batman 2. It's confirmed now. I was pretty excited about that. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the last episode, Jonathan clearly stated that Batman was a disappointment. Furthermore,
I didn't say it was a disappointment. I said it was overrated.
You said it was overrated. And then furthermore, I think you said it was still better than the Nolan Batman. Did you?
The original is the first one Batman
Begins. Okay, just the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the third one. It's not better than the second one.
Okay, so
it's better
than the second one.
So
you think it is better than the second one?
Through inferences, what I'm hearing is that you thought that the Batman, the Matt Reeves Batman, was a disappointment, and furthermore, you thought that the Nolan Batman was worse than that.
I guess you can imply that it's a disappointment because I said it's overrated. I did enjoy the movie. I thought it was really good. But also, people are like really hyping it up, and I don't feel like it's as good as people are saying. It's a really good movie,
okay.
Yeah, that's all. Like, I enjoyed it. I think it's a good setup. Like, I think the next Batman has like a good potential. I'm hoping that we might actually get to see. Not Fall Out Boy Batman. We'll get to see more of a Bruce Wayne that we're kind of, used to seeing, because he kind of worked through his problems a little bit in the first one. Like, I understand it's prequel Batman, right? It's not it's the same as when they made Spider-Man Homecoming. It's like,
I've
Spider-Man, early Spider-Man before he came into his own. This is Batman before he came into his own. So,
what I've heard
um,
is that this Batman is compared to, I don't know if it's I think it's a movie called Batman Year Two, I think, or Batman.
uh
I think there's one called Batman Year One, and then Batman Year Two is supposed to be like obviously like the next year,
someone,
but it's like you said,
well,
he's not as refined yet as his vigilante self.
and I
So
haven't seen, or I haven't read, but my coworker says he's hoping they do Court of Owls.
I've heard of that. I want to see that movie
I've
actually. It's an
I've heard
animated
of
one, right?
Court of Owls.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if there's a movie, but I know that it's a comic book
Okay.
like series. But that's what he's hoping that's where they will go with
Wait,
this Batman.
Court of Owls.
I,
Isn't that
I've heard of Court of Owls. I don't know a lot about it.
isn't that referenced in? I could be wrong in that the Arkham Knights game that's coming out. That's what
I don't
that's
know.
supposed to be
Yeah.
coming around, right?
Yeah.
The Court of Owls, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
I'm super. Yeah, I want to play that game too. So
Oh yeah, there's a trailer. For
what I
2020.
what I want to say about the Batman is I watched it once and I did feel I felt like it was I loved watching it every single time that I watched it, and I watched it like 3 times now.
That's so much.
It's on HBO Max now. I just kind of put it on the background every once in a while, and then
Okay.
yeah, so that's why. So it's not like really sitting down and like laser focused like watching it 3 times. But so the first time I watched it, I enjoyed watching it every time. The first time I watched it, I had problems with it still.
Mm.
And I still do have problems when I compare it to the Nolan Batman. But if I kind of separate the two, I think that this newer movie does like a great job at just world building, which
Yeah.
the Nolan Batmans didn't really do. They kind of focus on I guess he did kind of world building too. I shouldn't have said
Kind
that,
of.
but I just really like the world building specifically that they did in this latest Batman. It was very cool. This is non-spoiler, by the way. We're staying away from spoilers, but this is kind of like still like saying what we thought about the movie because Justin's
think-
gonna see it probably next week.
I think the problem with the Nolan movies for me is that they haven't like the more time has passed, the less I kind of like, okay. I know The Dark Knight was a very good movie. It was a very good movie, but also I this is something that I've said from the beginning. I don't know if that movie would have been as well received if Heath Ledger had never died.
Whoa, Jonathan! I don't know.
I've always said this is not a new
That's
thing.
okay.
This is something that I've said. He did a really good job, but if he had never died, I don't know if he would have got as much acclaim for
You're
that
trying-
movie role.
You're trying to get us canceled before we even begin, man.
I'll accept the argument, but I would say that I
But
don't.
it's the same argument, like, oh yeah, Nirvana was great, but they kind of never got a chance to go bad, right? Because they ended in their prime. That's the kind of mentality I have with the Heath Ledger Joker. Like, it ended before it really, like,
So-
they got to do more with it, because obviously they wanted to do more with it.
So I would say that I don't agree with that because I would say that it's a testament to how well Heath Ledger did the Joker. The fact that every Joker that comes out now, we compare it to his Joker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he did no, and I'm not trying to take away from what he did. I think he was a great Joker. He did a really good job. But like, would we still be talking the same way if he was still alive? If he's still doing other stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it.
Wait, are
kind
you
of- I
talking
don't know,
about are you talking about Heath Ledger individually, or are you talking about his Joker performance?
kind of both in tandem? Like, I think his death and the
Because I think
you
that
know, the stuff, the work that the stuff that came out around it, where how like his method acting and about the work he put into the role kind of like raised it up to like this mystique. And so I do think he did a really great job, but at the same time I just can't help but wonder, if he never died, would people still be revering it the same way as they do?
Yeah, but what movie of his that you watched that was terrible?
Yeah, there wasn't. He was
Um,
on a hot streak
I don't
though.
know.
I think that's what
I don't
Jonathan's
think
trying to say.
I don't know a lot of his movies. I know Knight's Tale, and I know Batman, and
He was
Brokeback
in.
Mountain.
was it 10 Things I Hate About You?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Things I Hate About You. He was in The Patriot. What is
The
it?
Patriot. Yeah, yeah.
The Grimm Brothers.
He was
I'm
in a
not
lot
saying that but I'm
He's-
not
he-
saying I'm not saying he was a bad actor. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that his death elevated him and the role to possibly something that it isn't.
So I would say that if we're talking about Heath Ledger individually, I would say that it's impossible to know. We're never gonna know. So
Right.
I think like
obviously.
I think yeah. So I'm not even, I guess, going to talk about that. But I would say, in my opinion, and obviously we can't say for sure.
Like, would he have got nominated for the? Well, he got nominated for an Oscar for that role, right?
Yeah, he won
Or
it.
he
He
won
won
an
it.
Oscar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would he have gotten nominated for it? Would he won an Oscar if he hadn't died?
I think
I would
Because
say
you know how the Oscars are. You know how the Oscars are.
I can't speak for like the time, but I would say that I think I would still feel the same way I do about his version of the Joker, though. I think that was kind of independent from the fact that he passed away. I think his Joker is really good, and if he were alive still, I think people would still be comparing his Joker character to the Joker in The Dark Knight, because I think, yeah, he just, everyone, like, he's the bar, you know what I mean? He's the bar for the Joker. It's impossible to make a new Joker character without like saying like,
I mean,
like Heath Ledger,
I think
right?
he's the live action bar. I don't think he's like. I mean, Mark Hamill has been.
Yeah, I would say that Mark
is-
Hamill is up there too. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know.
But also, there's a lot of Jokers that really nobody talks about, because, I mean, mostly all animated stuff. When people talk about the Joker, they just talk about the live action. But
Yeah.
there's actually, besides Mark Hamill, a lot of other voice
It's almost
actors
like-
that have done that role.
It's almost like Heath Ledger's like the Eminem of Jokers, right? It's like, if you want to compare him, just like ignore him, just accept that he's at the top and go for someone else to try to compete with.
Jack Nicholson is really good as a Joker too. He's just a different Joker. They're all different Jokers.
Yeah,
So-
I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
I would. Well, no. You were talking about Joker, but what did you actually think of the movie Joker? Like, because there actually is a movie.
Oh yeah, and
So do you-
Phoenix?
Joaquin Phoenix. He was a really good. That was a really good Joker movie too.
So
And we kind of glazed over that one.
I actually did care for that movie, but that's just me.
That was a
Like,
great movie.
I don't know.
It's-
Like, it was. I think. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Alvaro agrees with me. Like, I think. I don't know. Like, I think it was, the story was good, but it just wasn't enough for me. Like, I feel like the buildup was too much, and I wanted to see him more as a Joker. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, because he didn't really become the Joker until the last like 30 minutes of that movie, and I'm just like, well,
That happened. I feel like that happened. Like I think there's some people complaining about Moon Knight, like too, in that way that
His face?
there
No,
he's
we don't
there's
like it.
not there. Well, he's not. He spent more time as like Steven and Mark than he is actual fighting as Moon Knight.
Yeah,
But
but the
I
whole
think
point is that
it's
you gotta know who he is as a person first.
right. No, and I'm enjoying it. I don't agree with the sentiments. I think it's been really good, but I can see the argument because there's been 5 episodes, almost all of them an hour long, and maybe not even one episode's worth of actual Moon Knight.
Yeah. I think
Fighting and stuff.
he suited up like 3 times in the whole show so far, right?
Yeah.
But
I mean, there were some cool scenes, but it's a common thing where, like you said in the Joker, where you're getting used to how the Joker how they become that character, and not so much who they are after they become that character.
I feel like we spent the last 10 minutes trying to defend Heath Ledger after Jonathan slandered him.
I like he was good. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I is it a devil's advocate kind of thing? I guess. Like
No, I
I
think it's a worthless hypothetical. It's like, well, he's not alive, and
well I
I
know,
mean,
but
I think we would have
but
gotten a better sequel after that. Gotten a better part 3.
oh
We
yeah,
would have
definitely.
a Tom Hardy
Oh.
Bane movie.
What's
So
wrong
that
with
would make
Bane?
sense.
I have to
I'm just
protect.
saying, like, if
I mean,
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
we would have less memes,
If
but we would have got a better third movie.
if
yeah.
Max was here, he'd be like strawberries, and so I must do it for him.
Yeah, so and I'm gonna use my next statement to like segue into our next little topic. But the reason that I personally like, um, I like both. I like Nolan's Batman. I like Reeves' Batman. But the reason I lean slightly towards the Nolan Batman is because I think he kind of captured the philosophy of the fact that Batman isn't supposed to be just Batman. He's supposed to be Bruce Wayne too. Like his superpower is rich. He's being rich, right? He's rich, and that's his superpower. And so, like, in order to help Gotham, he's not supposed to be like Batman all the time, right? When in Reeves Batman, and perhaps that was his flaw, and that's what he's gonna try to fix in the next movie. That would make a great movie, in my opinion. His flaw is that he thinks that as Batman, he can fix Gotham's problems. From and Gotham's problems is really like how slummy it is and how like there's like huge inequality which causes all the crime, right? And in Nolan's Batman, as Bruce Wayne, he was trying to address that. In the second movie, he was trying to like find a way to retire the Batman, right? And that's why he gave Harvey all that political power, or he was trying to give him like the financial power and the resources to do that kind of thing. That's why I lean towards Nolan's Batman, because in reality you don't need like a single vigilante that's like beating up gangs like gang at a time. You need like the money to
Just clean up the streets.
to actually do change, right?
Right.
And
I mean I kind of agree, but at the same time I don't think Christian Bale was a good Batman, and I think that's the weaker spot of like the Nolan movies is the hero parts were not like Bane wasn't great. Joker was good. He's like the only good like character out of all three of those movies. Like Ra's al Ghul's whatever. He was a terrible Batman. Now Christian Bale was a great Bruce Wayne, but I can't even necessarily blame him for Batman, because that, for all we know, that could have been a directorial choice. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like he could have been like, okay, make your voice gravelly, but and then sound like you've just ran 3 miles when you're coming into a scene.
Mhm.
But I think the Matt Reeves one, I think this one did a better job of like setting up than the first Nolan Batman movie, and I think it's gonna lead, if done right, will lead to bigger gains for the next one. And yeah, he wasn't a great Bruce Wayne in this one, but he was a good Batman.
Mhm.
He did the thing that you don't see in a lot of Batman movies, which is Batman's detective side, because he is the world's greatest detective. And a lot of it's just like him throwing money into gadgets and just like, oh, there's a spotlight, I'm gonna get there, and
I think one of the reasons why I like
or
this.
explosions, I'm gonna be there. Uh-oh, we lost Alvaro.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be back.
He's not taking this Batman slander.
But I think one of the reasons why I liked this version of Batman is like agreeing with you what you just said is it reminded me the most of like the old school Batman like Saturday morning shows or whatever. I don't even know if it was on Saturday morning, but it was
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like the animated TV show. It kind of reminded me of that because yeah, he was being a detective, and in this movie he seemed to pull out like gadgets out of his belt like to fit a situation. And I'm like, I don't need to know. You don't need to explain to me what it is. I just trust that Batman has something for everything. Like you don't need to explain to me like one bit. But what?
Yeah,
Okay.
I really enjoyed the who done it when he's just like the Riddler really like lent into like, okay, like he's laying down these clues and I have to try and like figure out like who this person is and who they're gonna kill next. What's his next thing.
Mhm.
And so I think it really helps. And we could probably like look at how they did the Riddler, and probably look at Batman's pool of villains and kind of figure out like who he's gonna use in the next movie.
So I haven't seen it, right? So
Right.
I know we've kind of been comparing like Jokers and like villains and whatever. So is this Riddler better than the Jim Carrey one? I mean,
It's completely different.
because
It's
granted
really
Jim
hard
Carrey's
to compare them. It's really hard because they are really different. Yeah.
I will say I don't really care for this Riddler.
The difference is
I think
almost
that
like the difference is almost like
he
the Bane
does.
from those movies and then the Banes from the Nolan movies too.
Yeah, he doesn't. It doesn't even feel like
That's how
Riddler,
different they are.
except for
Yeah.
it's like and I think this is the thing that I'm kind of like the thing I'm not liking about Batman movies is like the Nolan movies were like gritty and realistic, and like this one's more gritty and more realistic. So there's only like so much you can pull from. Like they can't use Killer Croc. They can't use like Mr. Freeze. They can't use any of these like colorful dudes unless they like really tone them down and take away from who they are. So like I know someone said, oh, they can use like Calendar Man, you know, for he would be like a really good like psychopath like serial killer villain that they could do. And so those are the type of villains we're most likely to see from a sequel. But like I'm okay with Batman being serious. I'm okay with the movies being dark. But like I kind of want him to like lean into like the cooler villains, because it's always like the same guys. Ra's al Ghul, Joker, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Harvey Dent. We're probably gonna see Harvey Dent in the next movie, because why wouldn't we? When all the politicians, I almost said a spoiler, but all the politicians in this movie, like I would not be surprised if Harvey Dent makes an appearance in the next movie.
Well, speaking of billionaires, Elon Musk wanted to buy Twitter. And the last I heard, I heard that Twitter was going to accept the offer. And the reason we're bringing this up is because I think we all like Twitter, at least, or use Twitter. It's personally my favorite, probably like the only social media I use, to be honest, because I don't.
Twitter.com/last time online.
quick
Yes.
plug.
Yeah, quick plug. Link in the description. Follow your boys. But yeah. So I wish Alvaro was here, because he was the one that had the information on the fact that like Elon Musk was considering pulling out because he said,
I've been following this every day. Like I've been watching like all the YouTube coverage, and like unless there's been an update in the last couple hours, like I haven't heard anything of him pulling out. And I've seen an article that says if he pulls out, he loses $1 billion. So I can't imagine that he would.
You mean if he pulls out of
Like
the
if he-
deal
like-
and he doesn't go through with
Yeah,
the purchase?
if he doesn't go through the deal, there's going to be $1 billion penalty.
Elon Musk has like 5 kids. There's no way he pulls out.
That was a good joke. That was a good joke.
What I did hear today is that because of all the hysterical Twitter staff, that they locked all of the Twitter staff out of the source code for Twitter, so they can't destroy the website,
like sabotage
and protest. Yeah.
Oh, you think there's
that was the most.
You think there's
That was the
huge
most recent thing I
protests?
heard.
Huh. That's interesting, because I would assume that most of the workers at Twitter have like Twitter stock as like part of like their employment compensation. I would assume that most people that work at Twitter like have something like that. So I'm curious, because I think if the sale goes through, I think people make money over there like automatically. I think.
So Alvaro's done for the night. He said his phone overheated, so he can't come back in.
Oh wow. Okay, that sucks. Damn. Because
Anyway,
he had like a lot of the information on this stuff, so that's
yeah,
unfortunate. But
I've been following I've been following Twitter, and I've been following uh, the lawsuit that, and without going into too much detail because we're not going to talk about celebrity gossip here, but I've been following both of those because they're immensely entertaining to me, especially when I don't have anything to do at work. But yeah, I've know he's just been kind of tweeting stuff, like doing the Elon Musk thing. I know that there's been a lot of people saying that they're gonna leave Twitter or delete their Twitter. They're like protesting Twitter, and Twitter CEO had a emergency meeting for the Twitter staff when it was announced that he was accepting the deal. Was it 2 days ago? Monday, right?
I think so. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Not to bring up like political stuff, but I actually seen something on Twitter that today when they said that the people that are saying they're going to delete their Twitter are like the people said they're going to move to Canada if Trump became president.
Oh yeah.
I don't see that happening. So
that's the new they're saying. I'm deleting my Twitter is the new I'm moving to Canada if Trump becomes president. Yeah. That's what they're saying.
Well, I mean, it's like I get the joke, but it's like kind of different though, right? Because I mean, like deleting account takes like no money at all, and like moving to Canada takes like freaking thousands of dollars, and like losing pay because you have to like find a new job and everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I was skeptical at first, but then in reality, I was like, is it really that much of a change that's gonna happen? I don't really care who owns Twitter. I think the only difference we're gonna see is that it sounds like Elon Musk wants to take off those tags that show up on some tweets, right? About trying to fact check, So that's like the only thing that I would think changes, because I don't think he wants to like let like violent tweets back into Twitter.
I don't know. I think Twitter is going to mostly stay the same. I think you're right there. I think the joke was more like, oh, you're not gonna delete your Twitter. You're saying you're gonna delete your Twitter, but you're not really gonna delete your Twitter, right?
I never felt that way about it.
People that are they're saying like these are the people that are addicted to Twitter and they need to be on there. So like I don't think they're gonna delete the Twitter. I've seen a bunch of different stuff like Elon Musk is gonna change TOS. He wants to make Twitter's open source and release the source code to the public. Yeah, those are some of the things that I've been hearing.
That makes...
I think I mentioned.
Wait, was that like a rumor, or was that like what people are like speculating? Because that sounds like it makes no business sense at all.
I don't know. That's just something I've heard, and I don't know if it's something that he tweeted out himself, or if it was something.
Because that would mean
I want to say it might.
Yeah. Because that would mean that I can download the source code. I can change the logos a little bit, and then I have my own version of Twitter that we could use for free, right? I don't know if that makes sense, like business wise.
Says okay, but so apparently, he wants to make the Twitter algorithm open source. That's what he wants to do.
The Twitter algorithm.
Whatever
that makes, I think that makes a tiny bit more sense, because what I was hearing from just like one streamer that I follow is, I guess, like a lot of people were upset that like, I don't know, some people are upset that like you don't see tweets like in chronological order anymore, right? And I kind of ignored that because I mean, you can sort by chronological order to an extent.
For yourself, or just for other people in general?
What do you mean, like for yourself?
Yeah, like you can sort through your own tweets, or like when you visit somebody else's Twitter page, you can
No,
sort through their.
your feed,
Your own page, your feed.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So
See,
like, I knew you could do that, and so like I kind of ignored that, but I thought I'd bring it up still because I mean that's how people feel. I think in general people are feeling that like they're getting kind of, bem- like they feel like their feeds aren't like serving them well enough, right? Um, Perhaps it's
right,
because they think that algorithms like feeding them stuff. I think personally more likely it's that like Twitter's trying to get their value out of us as like data machines by like sending us promotions or sending us like trending tweets, you know. And I think
yeah,
in a perfect world people wouldn't want those trending tweets on their feed and they wouldn't want promotions on their feed because then that would mean it's totally free. That's how it was back in the day, but Twitter's trying to make their money now. So
right.
and so
And
yeah,
I think that there are people there. I mean, obviously, I don't use Twitter enough, so I mean, and I don't have any Twitter presence, but there's obviously certain subset of people that are saying that Twitter caters to a certain side politically wise, and then people that they don't like will get will either get like heavily moderated, or they get that shadow banned, as they like to use on all social medias, where you're putting stuff out and people are just not seeing your content
yeah.
for
I
whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't know how often that happens now. So like I prefer not to speak on it right now because I don't know um, if it's still going on and like to what extent.
Yeah,
Uh, but I will say
it
that
seems.
it seems like that Twitter at least like lessened the amount that they do that because that's how like those tags, those like factual check warning things came up on Twitter things. That was like the
Hmm.
replacement for like banning people or like deleting tweets or whatever because they got in trouble for that publicly anyway. Um, which if they became a private company, I don't think they have to really care about that anymore, right? They can just do whatever they want. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, people are. I think they're. Yeah, people are scared for no reason. I remember here the other two. He's gonna try and figure out a way to get rid of bots because apparently bots are a really big problem. But
But
bots are a really big problem across all social media. I
bots
just don't know how
bots
he's
help me
gonna
out.
get it.
Bots help me out a lot though as a game developer. they 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 are the bots are the ones that like promote my tweet early on in like the early seconds or minutes of a tweet, based off of
Hmm.
the hashtags that I put into it, and then that
Hmm.
usually like kind of springboards it into like other people seeing it, like
Hmm.
it's like a little boost in the beginning, and like those first few seconds and the first few minutes of like a tweet existing are kind of what determines how
How
viral it's going to be.
seen it's going to be.
Yeah,
I think he's talking about like fake accounts. I think that's when he's talking about bots. I think he's talking
yeah,
about fake accounts.
yeah. I guess I if he wants to verify as many accounts as he wants, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Or maybe they could do what Discord does, right? Which is like if it's a bot, they explicitly tell you it's a bot, right? But with like that bot tag on it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Like
cause
Craig.
But those are
yeah, like Craig.
like
Rest in peace, Craig.
helpful.
Craig was a recording
Those are
bot
like
that we had.
helpful bots.
Yeah,
Those are like AI helpful guys, not
yeah,
we don't
true.
we want those ones. We don't want the ones that are trying to fish for our information,
Yeah.
or I guess there's
Or the ones that
some.
sneak into your DMs acting like a pretty woman, and then you get catfished. Oh,
Hey,
only me. That's only happens
so
to me. Oh, okay.
I remember there was that one time when we were when I still had Tinder, and there was a bot sending me nudes, and I was like, this has got to be a bot, right? Like this feels like a bot, but at the same time, like it's really sophisticated. Just like bot sends nudes.
Hey, they had a nice house, man.
They had a nice white couch, right?
It had a nice. It the picture wasn't a nice house.
Okay.
Well, there was the Ubisoft thing too. I don't know if you heard about that thing.
Do we want to talk about that? Because I think we have a few more minutes. Do we want to talk about what you were talking about, which I don't know what it was, or do we want to talk about Blizzard stuff for a little bit for our last few minutes?
I feel like we should wait for Lewis.
Okay, for the Blizzard
I feel like Lewis
stuff.
will have some input on the Blizzard stuff. I know it'll be a little old.
Okay, it'll give me time to watch like the whole presentation then too, because I just saw the trailer. I do have opinions on the trailer.
The Ubisoft thing is just like apparently they're doing really bad right now because they're trying to lean too hard into the live services. So they're between all of the bad shit that was happening. They had a similar situation that was happening with them, like Activision. You know, sexual harassment stuff.
Oh wow.
I don't think it was as bad, but they had some allegations and they were cleaning house, and the last few games have just been either like done very poorly, or anything they've announced has been poorly received, and so there's rumors that they might be prepared to sell themselves, like they might be looking to be bought out.
Actually, I remember reading this. This happened like a few days ago, right? Like,
yeah,
it was like almost last week. I remember this because I remember when Microsoft was buying up all these companies, Ubisoft came out with a statement saying like we're not gonna like sell ourselves to like one of these big publishers. We want to stay independent, right? And I remember that, and that's the reason why it stuck out to me that they were like having problems and they were thinking about like selling, right? Because I was like, oh well, that was a lie.
The shoe dropped.
Yeah.
So I know there's been like, speculation. If they do sell, who's gonna be the buyer? Is Microsoft gonna buy? Is Sony gonna buy? Is it gonna be like Amazon or, some other like Tencent or something? Like just like a conglomerate that just owns.
No, I think Microsoft is kind of setting a standard so that I think if Microsoft doesn't want to buy them, I'm sure Sony would be more than happy to swoop up and take them. Or I don't know about Amazon. Amazon it's not doing too well with the gaming, except for like Lost Ark. Lost Ark was like the only game that I really liked from Amazon so far. But
they're trying to break in. That would be the good way to do it if they just took over a bunch of established studios and IPs. And
yeah, I would imagine though that it would be similar to how Microsoft is handling the EA stuff right now. It's like if you want to download a game from EA on Microsoft, it's almost like they give you a voucher to go to the EA Play desktop app or something, and then you download it from there.
The Origin.
I don't think it's Origin anymore. I think it's like a new launcher.
It's still Origin.
Oh,
yeah, I just logged into it I just logged into it a couple days ago because when Amazon Prime Gaming some they've been giving away.
All right, maybe
EA
specific
games for free.
Maybe it's more specific to Game Pass and they have like a different solution because I don't think I launched Origin.
EA Play is their subscription service.
Yeah. And whoever gets Ubisoft gets like an Assassin's Creed every other year. So
if they continue to do that, the only thing I don't think Microsoft can afford Ubisoft. I don't think there's any question there. I don't think that they will buy Ubisoft just because they're already having trouble with the Activision acquisition. I don't think they're going to be buying anybody until that is finalized. Because they're already being being examined by what is it, the FCC or FCC?
They bought Poison, man.
Yeah, the deal might not even go through. It might get blocked if they can't buy. I mean, if they would be able to buy Ubisoft if Activision didn't go through because they're much smaller, I believe.
Yeah.
But
I wonder.
Sony, on the other hand,
I don't know like the legal stuff, but I want to say that it's still probably going to go through because I don't think Overwatch 2 would have released a beta like so confident that they were actually going to release Overwatch 2 if they didn't think that the Microsoft deal was going to go through, right? Because from from the outside, from a consumer perspective, it seemed like Microsoft actually resurrected the Overwatch 2 project, because it was canceled indefinitely before the
Was
news.
it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, oh, we have a demo, and now
Yeah.
like if you've been on Twitch, there's like millions of people watching it. Granted, those are the million people who are watching just because they want a code, but that's besides the point. That's I mean, that's good PR, right?
It's an
Yeah.
artificially inflated number.
Yeah. So I want to say that it seems like at least Blizzard is pretty confident. Dude, you just gave a knee pick. That's going to be on our OnlyFans.
Oh no.
Yeah. Let me see them knees.
The ankles are safe, so it's okay.
Yeah. Which the Overwatch looks pretty cool too. But I mean, it looks just like an upgraded version of Overwatch 1. So, of course, I'm going to like it.
Well, yeah, they pretty much, from what I've been hearing mixed reviews on it. I know we probably won't get into it because
it'd be good to go over the same time we go over Blizzard stuff, so, or the World of Warcraft stuff.
I hear I've watched a couple streams because obviously I was trying to get a code, and it seems like they changed Orisa Ray, but they made her even more busted. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, like her ulti is pretty much like a baton that like slams people into the ground, and but yeah, like they're trying to make things better, which I get, but what can you do, right? Like this game was announced like 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of the games that they announced like 4 years ago, before the infamous "you have a cell phone," right?
Yeah. But also,
I mean, we haven't heard anything. There's been nothing that's come out, and now you're seeing Overwatch 2, and you're seeing Diablo, was it Immortal?
Yeah, Diablo Immortal.
Which is now coming out on PC, because obviously they had to backtrack that. So,
yeah. Which
I think they just needed to really hard course correct. I think that's all.
I mean, I actually went to that BlizzCon when that was announced. And when that was announced, not a lot of people were really happy with that because they were waiting for Diablo 4. But now that they have actually announced Diablo 4, they still haven't really done anything on it.
I mean, Diablo 4 is in also in what's the term? Development hell. Because they've restarted that a couple times already, I think.
Wow. I really want to go to another BlizzCon. That was probably one of my favorite gaming conventions that I've gone to so far. If it opens up, we should go again.
I want to go to PAX. If we can ever try and get into that.
Hell yeah.
Even PAX East. Shit, if we could get into any PAX, I'd be down to go.
PAX East just happened, but yeah, I don't know when does PAX West usually happen? During the summer? No, I don't know.
August, I think. It's usually after E3 but before Comic-Con.
Okay.
I think we should try to go to Gen Con, but that's
we can all take a trip to Indianapolis.
We say that now, but we better commit, guys. I'm serious about this. I want to go to PAX West. That sounds cool. I do want to go to BlizzCon.
Well, the problem with PAX West is that it they don't really advertise when they're going on sale, and when they go on sale, they sell out in like seconds. So we've been wanting to go to PAX West, but it just sells out so quickly.
And it's in Seattle too, right? You have to like do some planning to get there and stuff too.
And it's kind of I don't really like hear what you said, but like when they do it, they just like spur of the moment. Like I don't know if you said that. Yeah, it's so dumb. Like I remember like waking up one day and they're like, "Oh, PAX West tickets are on sale," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, how am I supposed to plan for this? And then I was able to get like a random day, and I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
And then that's the point, because when they tell you, then the nerds crash the website, and apparently no amount of preparing allows the nerds to, or I should say, no amount of preparing prevents the nerds from crashing the websites.
We need to set up the bots.
Yeah. Oh God, that'd be more. Oh
just,
man.
just keep watching their Twitter account, and as soon as they say tickets are on sale, our bot just DDoSes them until we're ready to order the tickets, and then we can like, okay, you can start
Wow.
DDoSing now, and then we'll order the tickets.
Well, now we have a minorly successful podcast, and by minorly successful, I mean we have what 10 episodes now. What episode are we on? We're on like 13 or 14.
Oh,
This
we're
is-
on like 9.
I think this might be 9. Yeah.
Yep, we're on
9.
9.
We're almost at
And-
double. Next week we'll be at double digits. You
and
know,
you know
like,
our
who knows? We might be able to apply for a press pass.
A. Yeah, we need to come up with some better stuff. We need to level up this podcast a little bit. We need the help of the listeners, of course. Advertise to your family, your friends, your grandma. Get your grandma's phone and look up the podcast app and put it on while she's not looking, and then silence it. No, don't do that. But
No. Actually, listen to our conversation.
Listen to our
no, I'm saying
our
get.
engaging conversations.
I'm saying get your family members' phones.
Get
and then
those cookies
Yeah,
activated.
listen to our episodes, and then set the phones away. Hide the phones.
Leave comments.
And then at least
Leave
watch it for
comments.
yourself. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and find. And do we also accept feedback too? You could be in.
Positive, please.
Yes,
Like,
you
give us
can be-
constructive criticisms. Don't just say you guys suck.
Yeah,
'Cause
you can be in
kind
one
of
of our
already know
next
that.
episodes, right? We can shout you out. Know what I'm saying? All right.
We will
It-
be like Jane
yeah.
and Silent Bob, and we will fly to your house and
This
say,
is the
"Did you
most
say?"
promotion we've done in all 9 of the episodes.
Yeah.
But we'll be like, "Did you say this about our podcast?" And then we'll just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we will give you a shout out if we find out that you got your great grandma hooked on this podcast. Okay. Great grandmas
We need
love our
to-
content.
We
They
should,
love
we should
World of
go
Warcraft.
hit up a smaller anime con and just talk to people and network. That's what we should do.
We'll come up with a mic like, "Hey, we're going around the convention right now, and we're trying to see if anyone's
Have you heard of us?
Last Time Online." They're like, no. Yeah, but anyway, okay, yeah, we should probably end the episode now. We said pretty good on topic. We talked about Twitter. We talked about the Batman, and yeah, and next week we have a pretty decent idea of what we're going to talk about next week too, right? We have Moon Knight.
With
is gonna-
Moon Knight
Moon Knight
and
spoilers probably next week, and then
Blizzard.
Yeah.
Possibly. And you know what? I'm gonna watch that D&D plays. I don't know if you guys seen that. Nobody watched that D&D direct, but today was the first episode of the D&D plays where there is a bunch of people in the D&D community, like either D&D writers, other YouTubers and people that are in other D&D content. I think there's 8 people, and it's going to be the Spelljammer setting, which is pretty much it's space pirates.
It's like Dead Space.
Yeah.
Kind of.
okay.
It's D&D's direct, like it's on the D&D channel. It was at 5:00 today, so and I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I'm going to watch it or at least listen to it while I'm driving at work next week and come back and talk about that at least on the Nerd Report.
All right.
I think next week maybe we talk about the Blizzard stuff because there's actually like a lot of stuff that actually did come out, like Overwatch, the Diablo,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just
yeah.
makes it some good stuff before it gets too old and other new content comes out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
I'm just saying that's what I'm talking about next week in my little 5-minute spiel.
All right. Well, that is going to be our episode then. Pretty good episode today. Thank you for listening, and make sure you stick with us next time online when we determine whether or not Iron Man would have been as hyped up if he didn't die.
Wow.
I love you
Bye.
3000. Bye.